Last week, we told you about our #1 recommendation for something to do in Salem, but now we want to tell you about the most popular attraction in Salem.
Spoiler alert, it was definitely not our favorite.
Welcome to the Salem Witch Museum.
I'm Phoebe.
I'm Adam.
We're the couple behind In the Great Wide, and we spent a few days in Boston during our month-long train trip across the country and back using the Amtrak USA rail passes. And the only full day that we really had in the Boston area, we actually took a day trip up to Salem.
Salem, which was great. It was something we've always wanted to go to, and we were super excited we were going to be in the area, so we went. Unfortunately, Salem was not everything we wanted it to be. See previous videos for that.
For more info.
More info on that.
We won't keep rehashing it.
We had heard about the Salem Witch Museum previously. Phoebe had tried to get tickets beforehand, but they're only available the day of, at least during the October season. It is open
year-round.
Year-round. I almost said 24 hours a day. That's not true.
No, it is open year-round, but since we were visiting in October, which is their busiest time of the year by far, they were only offering timed entry tickets, and you could only get them the day of. But because it's October and Salem has literally 500,000 people visiting just during the month of October, those tickets will sell out. So it was just like first thing in the morning before I even got in the shower when we woke up in Boston, I got online and I was like, I'm gonna get these tickets. I'm gonna get these tickets. And we got them, but you kind of have to like plan your day around it, which is the other annoying thing. Yeah,
I mean, there's it, like she said, it's timed entry, but like you know, so it's I think every 30 minutes or
something
so,
like that. Yeah,
it would come in, and they had signs up for different lines because people would wait an hour to get into the Salem Witch Museum. We actually met up with a friend of ours and his daughter who lives in Boston, and we wandered around Salem with them together.
Yeah. And they came with us to the Salem Witch Museum, but when you're getting tickets for the museum, they have a warning saying it may not be suitable for all ages because of some like violent depictions and things like that. So I was like, I texted my friend and I was like, you know, your daughter's like 11 or 12, like, are you going to be cool with this? Is she going to be okay? And he was like, oh yeah, she'll be fine. And she was, so...
She actually was kind of bored with it. By the time we got to it, we had pretty much realized that Salem definitely was not what we were expecting it to be. And the city itself had been kind of disappointing throughout the day. There was fun stuff that we did. The Peabody Essex Museum was great.
Yeah.
And seeing, you know, the cemeteries and stuff. And then, of course, later we would have a great night tour. But up to this point, we were kind of just worn out from the crass commercialization of Salem.
I think I was kind of in shock, honestly.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
did not know what to think in the moment because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
We had walked by the Salem Witch Museum a couple times. I didn't realize it's where we were going to go because the exterior of the building is awesome.
It's beautiful. It looks like...
So cool.
Yeah, it looks like an old church or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But you're not allowed to take pictures and videos inside. So...
I wonder why that would be.
So we went in.
We had such a strong reaction to the Salem Witch Museum that we literally went outside afterwards. Our friend and his daughter had to leave, and we sat down in a park and we recorded this. Hey everybody.
Hi.
We are in Salem. We just got out of the Salem Witch Museum.
Yep.
The exterior is very cool.
Yes.
It's a very nice
pretty.
building. They don't allow you to videotape or photograph anything inside.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because it is possibly one of the most awfully amazing things I've ever seen.
It was super cheesy.
Imagine a 1960s school film, but with dioramas. I'm pretty sure the soundtrack was literally stripped from a 1963 informational film about the Salem Witch Trials, with all the fire.
Wait, are you being serious?
brimstone. Yes, I'm not kidding. Yeah. I'm positive. I feel like I'd heard it before, but it was dioramas, and then you go into a second exhibit to talk about the evolution of witches or something.
It starts talking about the more modern, what witch really means now.
Right.
You know, because it's changed so much over the last 300 years.
Yeah.
So
it does do a pretty good job of talking about the trials here, which technically wasn't here.
Yeah.
It was in Salem Village, which we learned from a local friend. The town hated it so much that they changed their name to Danvers
because they wanted nothing to do with it.
Recused themselves from any action. Salem, on the other hand, they don't care.
Oh, they're milking it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they are milking it.
And you can ask the million other people here right now. They're milking it hard.
Yeah. It's been a really interesting experience here, being here during October.
But as you can see, there's a beautiful house behind us. There's beautiful architecture, and the leaves have actually changed.
Or at least are starting to. There's some
You
really
can see
nice
some
orange leaves
right
above
below
us.
and down behind us. Yeah, that's good stuff. So there you
but
go.
I'm gonna say hard pass on the Salem Witch Museum, which I'm really surprised by, because when I looked it up, it said that it was the most popular museum in Salem.
It's most likely because they don't allow anyone to film or video or photograph inside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if you like cheesy stuff, do it. You should start there and then go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe drink a lot.
They advertise saying it may not be suitable for all ages because it shows the pressing of Giles Corey and stuff, and I was like,
which was cool. I didn't know how they did that, so that's positive.
I mean, but did they really show it?
Yeah.
You know,
well,
I mean, they kind of did. It's like a wax museum vibe.
But I, yeah, it is. Anyway,
it's like a wax museum
all right.
vibe.
There you go.
Yeah. That's all for now, folks.
When you go in, you just sit on these small stools. It's a really big room. It's a big auditorium. The stools actually spin because of the various dioramas around
I think
you.
some of them spun, but the one that I was sitting on did not. You just had to kind of
twist and turn.
So you could watch it. It's essentially imagine a nativity scene around Christmas time.
Yeah.
But they're raised and they're depicting different scenes throughout the timeline of the Salem Witch Trials. And so they light up we're talking about this one now, and there's a narrator.
Follow along. It's like a really bad version of Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. They tried really hard to depict them realistically, I guess. But the narration was so bad. Oh my God, it was just bad.
To be fair, they did not glorify the Salem Witch Trials, saying that it was something to be celebrated by any means,
No.
But it was just cheesy.
So cheesy. The second part of the tour, after you see the massive amount of dioramas around you, was depicting modern witches.
Mm-hmm. Which was really just depicting them as hippies, which, sure, there are people out there who probably identify as a witch and a hippie. That's fine. But only depicting modern day witches as hippies, it's a little insulting, because I'm pagan. I identify as pagan, and I have since I was 11, but I was raised in a strict Christian household up until that point. Well, I'm past that point. So I grew up in the Bible Belt, so I was teased all the time and called a witch all the time, and I wore it like a badge of pride. And so it's just hard for me to I'm not a hippie. I love nature. I love being out in nature. I do not identify with the word hippie, or with that vibe.
I am not a pagan. I am not a hippie, but I do understand the difference between the two. I understand that there are a lot of people that call themselves witches or pagans or hippies that are very nuanced people, and you can't pigeonhole everyone into certain groups.
Yeah. So it was just a little annoying is the point,
Yeah.
you know?
And to be fair, they weren't saying that like, oh, these are bad, like modern witches are bad because they're hippies. It was just kind of insulting to be like, yeah, here's what they are now. And that this is probably the only time most of these people that go through the million people every day or whatever that come through will assume that, oh, that's what witches are now.
Yeah. It was just a little insulting and annoying. And I think they need to update it, you know, to be more inclusive.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
For something better to do in Salem, check out our video from last week, the Salem Ghost Night Tour, which was awesome.
And we will put a link to it right now. We post new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. We share specific reviews from all over the world with even more information on our website to help you plan your own trips.
Make sure you subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful or entertaining. It definitely helps us out tremendously. Every little bit helps.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the Great Wide somewhere.